Now, staying with money, and the Shadow Chancellor, George Osborne, has been reported, has had voice coaching lessons from an expert, £100 an hour, based in Harley Street in London, in an attempt to improve his image. Some say that in the past year his voice has dropped in tone, and they're trying to make his speaking style sound less posh. Let's go back to 2006, first up. George Osborne, 2 years or so ago, yes, it would be actually this month, responding to the budget.
After 10 budgets from Chancellor Gordon Brown, we're paying more tax than ever in our history. Just think about that. More than ever in our history. Taxes are now higher than they were in the Second World War, and higher than in the winter of discontent.
OK, that's the Shadow Chancellor 2 years ago. Here's George Osborne last week.
Why pay people the dole when you can use that money to give employers a tax break that gets those people into work? And I think that's good for the people concerned, because obviously it's much better to be in work, much better for the economy as well, that we're spending money keeping people in work or getting unemployed people into jobs.
All right. Whether there's any difference or not, let's put that to Dee Forrest, who's a voice consultant with the company www.projectyourvoice, that's urvoice.com. Dee, did you notice a change there?
A slight one, yes. I mean, when I first listened to him, if I close my eyes and I can't see him, it sounds like somebody that's fairly young, I think. And I think a young voice doesn't always give you confidence that they're going to be able to handle weighty things like being the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Well, certainly if it comes to looking after hundreds of billions of pounds of public investment, you probably want someone who sounds as if they've got a bit more gravitas.
Exactly, yes. And certainly I think there's a slight difference there, and I think he has got a marginal amount more of that, but I think he could certainly do with a lot more than that, actually.
What would you be telling him to do?
Well, there's loads of things that one can do, but I mean, a good sort of rounded sound should have a fair amount of bass in it. For instance, you've got lots of lovely bass in your sound.
Oh, have I, Dee?
You have. So what it does, it gives you a sense of, as you say, gravitas, maturity. You feel confident with that person. So I think what I'd probably ask somebody like George to do is to really think about the voice coming from the lower part of your body, and we certainly do a lot of work about sort of focusing that in your belly, really. So thinking of the voice coming from your stomach, really.
What sort of people do you cater for?
The majority of the people that I cater for, because I'm deputy head of a voice department in a drama school, are students sort of 18, 19, 20. But I also deal with corporate people like barristers, etc.
But Project Your Voice, the website that I think you're with, or you work with, or you know, presumably that's used by more professionals than students.
That will encourage more professionals, yes. So we're talking about company directors, people that have to address large numbers of people and are in commanding positions.
All righty. Now I'm in a moderately commanding position, Dee.
Yeah.
I broadcast to many hundreds of thousands of people each morning. And I don't know whether you've ever heard my voice that often.
I've actually been listening to you all morning.
Oh, you've been listening to me all morning, have you?
Yes, I have.
Now, what tips can you give me? If I wanted to perhaps take my accent up a little, or I wanted to strengthen what I do, what would you be telling me?
Well, generally what you've got is what we'd call a standard RP accent, which is lovely, it's rounded, it's got lots of lovely bass in it, it's got a fair amount of what we call twang, which is brightness, which brings energy into the voice.
Ah.
And if you wanted to sound posher or more heightened, as we call it.
Yeah, let's heighten me.
Let's heighten. Okay, so
because what you're saying is my voice is perfect. What you were saying there was my voice is great. You can't improve it at all.
Well, of course.
Thank you. So let's make me a little more Eton then. What am I going to do?
A bit more Eton. Well, you'd have to end up with a little bit more of that brightness, that twang,
right?
Which would take you more into the sort of royal family and Prince Charles.
Oh yeah, I do that. Yeah.
Yes. So what you need to focus on there is sending your sound through your upper gums, your hard palate, and through your nose and the mask of your face.
Right.
And to slightly close the mouth down around the vowels a little bit.
Oh.
So you're thinking a little bit higher than perhaps you speak at the moment.
Right. So is there an exercise I could do to learn that, or?
Well, to bring more twang into your voice, I'd ask you to sound, you know those horrible 50cc motorcycles that you hear whizzing around, and they go,
Oh, yeah.
So if I asked you to do that, would you do that for me?
Of course I will.
Okay. So now focus all that sound where your speaking sound through that area. So you've got that kind of quality to your tone.
So then you talk more like this.
Yes.
And it comes out like that, and you say thank you very much for being on the programme.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for having me.
D Forrest, voice consultant, project your voice. That's youarevoice.com. Thank you very much. I can't keep it up for long, but there we are. George Osborne going the other way. Osborne.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for having me.
D Forrest, voice consultant, project your voice. That's youarevoice.com. Thank you very much. I can't keep it up for long, but there we are. George Osborne going the other way.